Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, you'll be listening to a hypnosis session that I did with a lady who was struggling with the aftermath of quite a tough childhood. She felt very vulnerable in her childhood. She didn't feel safe. And there was always this kind of feeling that she had to play a bit of a game in order to protect herself, that she couldn't communicate in the way that she wanted. She had to kind of feign affection or, almost pretend to be someone she wasn't to survive. Now, while that made sense in her childhood, it was causing this feeling of being stifled or tangled or confined in her adulthood, which was a problem because actually she wanted to kind of explore the world and do different things, but she felt that something was holding her back. So what you're going to hear in this hypnosis session is a tool to regress back to her childhood disassociated because it was a painful past. We didn't want to associate into any of that pain. Observe herself like a third person and give resources to kind of change the meaning, so a bit of timeline therapy, but also to look at the past as a way of giving her resources that she wouldn't have had if she had an easy childhood. And what this is really doing, some people feel that because they had a tough childhood, their whole future is ruined and they won't be able to do anything. But the opposite is quite often true, that those people that had the toughest childhoods are the most resilient, are the most resourceful because they needed to cope to survive the troubles that they went through. And before the hypnosis session, I asked the question, I said, well, look, you want to travel the world, who's going to be better prepared to explore these kind of new cities and new places? Someone with a really privileged background that had other people solve their problems. Everything was very safe. Everything was very easy. No dramas, no struggles. Or someone that went through those struggles and had to solve problems and had to deal with difficult situations. Who is going to be better prepared to go to new cities and meet new people and try new things? And of course, she knew it would be the person that had to become resourceful to deal with those challenges. So in this hypnosis session, what you're going to hear is kind of a hypnotic reframe where the past, rather than being the reason that's trapping her and confining her, it was actually the thing that helped prepare her for a future of being very strong and independent and resourceful, and therefore it takes on a whole new meaning. If you like this session, it is available as a free download on my website, adamcox.co.uk, if you use the coupon code FREE. If you're listening to this and you feel that you've had a tough childhood and you're still dealing with some of the struggles from the past, it's still affecting your present or your future, there will be a link nearby where you can book a free 30-minute consultation call to explore working with me directly one-on-one rather than just experiencing me through the recordings. For this recording, though, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in a feeling of resourcefulness, and as you exhale, get a sense that any worries, any tension, any stress is leaving your body on the outward breath. As you breathe in and breathe out with your eyes closed, just notice that tension is leaving your body. Perhaps tension around your eyes, your eyebrows, maybe your jaw, your neck or your shoulders. Just continue to breathe in and breathe out and release that tension now. As you breathe in and breathe out, notice that the length of the breath is getting longer. Breathing in for longer, exhaling for longer. And as you slow down the breathing, you allow more oxygen to come in and you allow more tension to be released, enabling you to go deeper and deeper, relaxed. I want you to use the power of your imagination to create a large bubble. This bubble is larger than yourself, and I want you to imagine climbing into this bubble. This bubble can go forwards and backwards in time, and you are invisible in the bubble, although you can see everything outside of the bubble. I want you to imagine that you're going back in time, and I want you to imagine seeing yourself at about 3 or 4 years old. Perhaps you can imagine there you are playing by yourself, maybe with some toys or outside. And when you're convinced that you're seeing that 3 or 4 year old version of you on your own, I want you to judge just how resourceful they are. They almost seem creative, intelligent, capable, even at just 3 or 4 years old. I want you to imagine leaving the bubble, making eye contact with that 3 or 4 year old version of you, and starting to play with that child. Once you've gained the confidence and created a connection with that child, I want you to tell that child that you are someone from the future that cares, that you care about them. You care about what they want, what they need, that you're always there to listen. And I want you to share some wisdom or advice, because this 3 or 4 year old girl doesn't know what the future will bring, but you do. And I want you to give some helpful wisdom or advice that will help this small girl deal with the difficult challenges on the horizon. But not just giving her advice, I want you to give her a resource that you have in plentiful supply now, but maybe you didn't have as much back then. Maybe it's the self-love that you have from the present that you give to that small child that was so in need of attention and affection from other people, but maybe didn't get it. Or it may be something else. But whatever resource you have that you feel this child needs, I want you to imagine giving the child that resource. Maybe resilience, self-love, strength, tenacity, courage. She is taking that resource from you, placing it into her chest and feeling, and you can tell from her facial expression and body language that she now has that resource. And you know that that's going to help her throughout her childhood. It's going to help her solve some of those problems that she faced. Give her a hug and say goodbye, but tell her you will visit again. I want you to go forwards in time, perhaps just 2 or 3 years to perhaps you're 5 or 6. You're in your invisible bubble. You can see everything, but nobody can see you. I want you to see your sister fighting with your dad. She hasn't learned the same skills that you have. I want you to try and observe that you can see that maybe 5 or 6 year old version of you trying to kind of protect your sister by trying to get her away from your father. I want you to acknowledge that there are resources in both you and your sister. Maybe the resource in you back then at 5 or 6 was the ability to anticipate future possible outcomes and to avoid things that weren't desirable. Maybe that resource in your sister was that if she feels that her standards, her rules are violated, she'll stick up for herself even with someone much bigger, much stronger. I want you to get a sense that you in the present can utilize both those resources. Anticipating the future is useful, but being able to be resourceful in solving problems is even more resourceful, even more useful. Being true to yourself, sticking up for what you believe in, is also valuable. But I want you to see that 5 or 6 year old version of you getting quite distressed that you couldn't help your sister in the way that you wanted. And then just follow her until she's alone, and then come out of your bubble and give her a hug. Tell her that you care. And I want you to ask if you can help her in any way. What does she need from you? I want you to get a sense that if you can help in any way, you will. But equally, I want you to get a sense that just being there to listen, to give your attention, to give her a hug, to know that she matters, is also helping. I want you to get a sense that one of the key things that she might be doing at this age is creating beliefs about how vulnerable she is, what options she has. You might feel that she has to compromise on her values to survive. It might be that she feels that she has to fly under the radar. I want you to get a sense that this little girl back then may have felt like a baby circus elephant tied to a rope. And that baby elephant at the time was trapped, was vulnerable, could be beaten with sticks and threatened by a circus trainer. And that baby elephant formed beliefs that were necessary for its survival back as a baby. But the baby elephant grew and became stronger and more powerful than it could have ever imagined. Still tied by a rope, not knowing it can easily break free from that rope and any chains whenever it wants. I want you to observe this 5 or 6 year old version of you and realize that she is a baby elephant. She was trapped back then. She had limited choices back then. She was confined back then. But also get a sense that you're not in that situation anymore. You're more powerful. You're stronger. You have the ability to break free of any ropes and chains simply by walking away. I want you to take the resources from yourself as a child and know that you still have them. Give that child anything that you have that would help that child have a different relationship with themselves throughout that childhood, trusting their abilities more, having more self-confidence, and allow that timeline to ripple through time all the way up to the present. And then I want you to travel in your bubble to the future, a year from now. And I want you to observe a future version of yourself with a new life. You can see that you're smiling in this new life. Your body language, facial expressions, even how you dress and how you move, it exudes confidence. You see that you're living a life true to yourself. You're living a life expressing who you are and who you want to be. And I want you to get a sense that this is the chained circus elephant back out in the wild, in nature as it should be. No longer chained, no longer confined, but free. And just think that there are full-grown elephants still chained, believing that they can't leave, not because they can't, but because of their own beliefs and limitations that aren't real. The chains on you aren't real. The ropes on you aren't real. You can walk away. You are activating infinite resources within you, and you trust yourself to manage difficult situations and solve complicated problems. Whatever is stopping you from living the life that you desire may be a temporary difficult situation or a temporary complicated problem, but just trust that your mind has the intelligence, tenacity, and motivation to solve that problem, and that you trust yourself to live your life and learn from any mistakes, failures, or errors of judgment. But that's how you get wiser. You get wiser by taking risks and learning from your experience. And if you can see that future version of yourself living a life that is aspirational and desirable to you, but having broken those chains and those ropes to get there, let me know by nodding your head. Now it's time to return to the present, but you take all of these resources with you. The resources of you as a child, the resources of the future version of you that just trusts your ability to solve problems as they arise. But you will return to the present feeling that your past hasn't imprisoned you. Your past has prepared you. It's prepared you to live a life where you can trust your own abilities to solve problems. And because you now see that your past has prepared you, you're able to understand that your past wasn't easy. But sometimes strength comes from adversity. Sometimes resilience comes from challenges. And therefore you're no better prepared than you could be due to the past that you've experienced. Return to the present, listening to my voice, and take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. And very soon I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken feeling resourceful, feeling capable of solving difficult situations and complicated problems, and knowing that you can trust yourself to live your life on your terms and solve the problems as they arise. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.